What if I told you, the real reason we grow old isn't time, it's silence. Not the kind of silence you hear, but the silence inside your body. When your heart beats slower, your breath shortens. Your joints stop moving, and your energy forgets how to rise. But in just 2 minutes a day, you can wake it all up again. Sounds impossible? Stay with me, because what you'll discover next might change how you age, forever. You know, after decades of working with people over 50, I've realized something simple but powerful: aging isn't what takes our strength away. Forgetting to move, forgetting to breathe, forgetting to listen to our own body, that's what makes us grow old. The horse stance, this 2-minute practice, is more than an exercise. It's a reminder that your body still listens, still adapts, still grows stronger when you give it a chance. Every breath you take in that stillness is like telling your cells, I'm not done yet. I've seen it change lives, not because it's magic, but because it wakes people up from the inside. It rebuilds the connection between mind and body, strength and peace, effort and patience. So here's what I want you to take away. Youth isn't measured by how fast you move, but by how deeply you live inside your body. Just 2 minutes a day, standing still, breathing steady, feeling alive, that's all it takes to remind your body that life still flows within you. Try it tonight. Feel your feet rooted, your spine rising, your breath soft and deep. That quiet power you feel, that's you coming back home to yourself. Youthfulness doesn't come from age, it comes from awareness and connection. Take 2 minutes a day to listen to your body, stand still in silence, and let new energy be awakened from within. That's how you restore your vitality, not by force, but by awareness. I want to ask you, have you ever tried standing still for just 2 minutes and feeling your body truly alive? Please share your feelings or thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read and learn from your own experiences. And if you find this video useful, don't forget to subscribe to support us, helping us have more motivation to bring more good and meaningful content in the journey of goodbye old age. You know, after working with hundreds of patients over the age of 50, I've learned something simple but profound: your joints are the storytellers of your life. Every step you take, every chair you rise from, every morning stretch, they all whisper how well you've cared for them. There's one quiet practice I've taught for years: the horse stance. It's not flashy, it's not fast, but it's powerful. When you hold this pose, your knees, hips, and ankles begin to speak to each other again. The gentle tension you feel? That's your body reawakening, the ligaments, tendons, and muscles starting to breathe, to circulate, to remember their job. One of my patients, Martha, 67, used to say, "Doctor, I thought stiffness was just part of aging." But 3 weeks into this practice, she told me, I can finally walk to my garden without fear of falling. So I ask you, when was the last time you gave your joints a moment of quiet strength? Sometimes, healing doesn't come from movement, it comes from stillness. You know, one of the most fascinating things about the human body is how the brain and the body never stop talking to each other. Even in our 60s. That connection is alive, it just needs a little reminder. The horse stance is one of the simplest ways to wake that connection up. When you hold still in that position, your brain quietly activates something called proprioception, your inner GPS. It tells you where your body is in space, helps you find balance, and keeps you from losing that steady confidence when you move. I remember a patient named Henry, 72. He once told me, "Doc, I didn't realize my body had forgotten how to listen. But after a few weeks," he said, "it's like my feet finally know where the ground is again." So I'll ask you, have you ever felt like your balance isn't what it used to be? Maybe it's not your legs getting weaker, maybe it's your brain waiting for a little reconnection. Sometimes, the stillness teaches more than motion ever could. I've spent decades working with people in their 50s, 60s, even 70s, and there's one thing I hear over and over again. Doctor, I just don't feel like myself anymore. When I ask what they mean, they talk about energy fading, mood swings, restless nights. And often, it's not a lack of willpower, it's the body's chemistry quietly shifting with age. That's where something as simple as the horse stance can work wonders. When you hold this position, your body creates a kind of healthy stress, the good kind, that wakes up your hormones again. Endorphins rise. Cortisol drops, and your circulation starts to hum like it used to. One of my patients, Daniel, 68, told me, "Doc, after a few weeks of practice, I sleep through the night again, and I actually wake up smiling." So if you've been feeling drained or disconnected from your own energy, remember this: vitality doesn't come from youth alone, it comes from movement that reminds your body it's still very much alive. I often tell my patients this: your hips are the hinges of your freedom. When they're open and strong, you move through life with ease, walking, bending, even sitting down feels effortless. But when they stiffen, life starts to shrink a little. You hesitate to climb the stairs, to dance, even to reach for something on the floor. The horse stance helps unlock that. When you lower into the pose, your hip joints open gently, stretching the muscles and connective tissues that have grown tight over the years. It's not about forcing flexibility, it's about reminding your body what freedom feels like. I remember a woman named Clara, 70 years old, who told me after 2 weeks, "Doc, I can finally tie my shoes without pain." That's simple. That profound. So I'll ask you, how often do you give your hips the chance to breathe? Because when your hips open, something else opens too, your confidence, your energy, and the way you meet each new day. You know, I've always believed that real independence doesn't come from money or luck, it comes from your legs. The strength to stand up from a chair without using your hands, to climb the stairs without fear, to carry a bag of groceries and still smile, that's freedom. True freedom. When you practice the horse stance, your thighs, glutes, and calves work together like an orchestra. Steady, powerful, and perfectly in sync. It's not a race, it's a quiet rebuild from the ground up. I remember a man named George, 74 years old. He once said, "Doc, I didn't realize how much I'd lost until I couldn't get out of my chair without help." 3 weeks later, with daily practice, he walked into my office taller, not just physically, but in spirit. So let me ask you, when was the last time you truly felt the ground beneath you, firm, stable, and alive? Because your legs aren't just muscles, they're your foundation. And as long as they're strong, you'll never lose your independence. I often tell my patients, your core isn't just your abs, it's your body's anchor. It's what keeps you standing tall when life starts to weigh you down. The horse stance is one of the most beautiful ways to strengthen that anchor. When you hold still, your front, back, and side muscles quietly come alive. The deep layers of your core, not the ones you see in the mirror, but the ones that hold you upright, start to work together again. I remember a patient named Linda, 65. She once told me, "Doc, my lower back has been my biggest enemy for years." 3 weeks into this practice, she smiled and said, "It doesn't hurt to get out of bed anymore." That's not just progress, that's freedom. You see, your core isn't about vanity. It's about stability, balance, and dignity. So the next time you stand in that stance, remember, you're not just building muscle, you're rebuilding the very center of your strength. There's a part of our body that most people don't like to talk about, the pelvic region. But after 50, it quietly becomes one of the most important areas to care for. You see, when blood flow slows down there, it doesn't just affect strength or balance, it affects confidence, intimacy, even how alive you feel. The horse stance is a gentle yet powerful way to bring that area back to life. As you hold the pose, circulation increases around your hips and lower abdomen. The deep muscles of the pelvic floor, the ones that support your bladder, your stability, your vitality, start to awaken. I remember one of my patients, Robert, 69, who told me, "Doc, I thought that part of my life was over." A few weeks later, with a quiet smile, he said, "It's not. This isn't just about physical strength. It's about reconnecting with your body, with your confidence, and with the energy that makes you feel fully human, at any age." You know, there's a moment in every horse stance. Practice when your legs start to shake. The body whispers, "That's enough." But if you stay, if you breathe through it, something remarkable happens. The mind grows stronger than the body. I call this meditation in motion. Because it's not about how long you can hold it, but about what happens inside when you refuse to quit. One of my patients, Maria, 67, once told me, "Doc, I used to panic the moment I felt uncomfortable. Now," she smiles and says, "that shake in my legs? It's my strength waking up." Science tells us that calm breathing lowers cortisol and rewires how we handle stress. But I've seen it with my own eyes. Those who train their breath train their spirit. So the next time you stand in stillness and feel the tremble, don't run from it. That's not weakness. That's your resilience being born, one breath at a time. Sometimes, healing doesn't start with a pill, it starts with a breath. I've worked with patients who've tried everything for stress and high blood pressure, diets, pills, even meditation apps, but they forgot the simplest medicine of all, their own breathing. When you hold the horse stance and breathe slowly, your body activates something called the vagus nerve, a little switch that tells your heart, "It's okay, you can rest now." Your pulse steadies, your shoulders drop, and that heavy cloud of tension begins to fade. One of my patients, Evelyn, 71, once told me, "Doc, I used to feel my heart racing for no reason. Now I just breathe, and it listens." You don't need perfection, you just need presence. So tonight, before bed, stand still for a minute. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and let your body remember what calm feels like. Sometimes, peace isn't something you chase, it's something you allow. You know, people often think you need to move fast or lift heavy to stay strong. But strength doesn't always come from motion, sometimes, it's born in stillness. When you practice the horse stance, you might look still on the outside, but inside, your entire body is alive. Your legs hold your weight, your core stabilizes your spine, your back and shoulders stand tall, and even your neck learns to balance quietly. One of my patients, Tom, 66, once told me, "Doc, I can feel every muscle waking up, even the ones I didn't know I had." That's exactly what happens, your body becomes your own built-in gym. Science calls this isometric activation, but I like to think of it as a conversation between your mind and muscles, a way of saying, "We're still here, and we still work together." So the next time you hold that stance, don't rush. Feel the quiet power traveling up from your feet to your shoulders. That's your body remembering its strength, one breath at a time. You know, one of the things I worry most about in my older patients isn't heart disease or diabetes, it's falling. A single fall can change a life. But the good news is, your body still has the power to protect itself, if you remind it how. The horse stance strengthens the legs, hips, and ankles, but it also wakes up your balance system. Each time you hold still, your muscles and bones quietly rebuild density and memory. That's how you stay steady, strong, and safe. I had a patient, Grace, 72, who once told me, "Doc, I used to grab the wall every time I stood up." A month later, she laughed and said, "Now the wall grabs nothing, I stand on my own." And there's something deeper too. In that stillness, as you breathe and feel the energy rise along your spine, you begin to sense your body again, calm, alive, connected. Balance isn't just about standing upright, it's about feeling centered, inside and out. You know, after decades of working with people over 50, I've realized something simple but powerful: aging isn't what takes our strength away. Forgetting to move, forgetting to breathe, forgetting to listen to our own body, that's what makes us grow old. The horse stance, this 2-minute practice, is more than an exercise. It's a reminder that your body still listens, still adapts, still grows stronger when you give it a chance. Every breath you take in that stillness is like telling your cells, I'm not done yet. I've seen it change lives, not because it's magic, but because it wakes people up from the inside. It rebuilds the connection between mind and body, strength and peace, effort and patience. So here's what I want you to take away. Youth isn't measured by how fast you move, but by how deeply you live inside your body. Just 2 minutes a day, standing still, breathing steady, feeling alive, that's all it takes to remind your body that life still flows within you. Try it tonight. Feel your feet rooted, your spine rising, your breath soft and deep. That quiet power you feel, that's you coming back home to yourself. Youthfulness doesn't come from age, it comes from awareness and connection. Take 2 minutes a day to listen to your body, stand still in silence, and let new energy be awakened from within. That's how you restore your vitality, not by force, but by awareness. I want to ask you, have you ever tried standing still for just 2 minutes and feeling your body truly alive? Please share your feelings or thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read and learn from your own experiences. And if you find this video useful, don't forget to subscribe to support us, helping us have more motivation to bring more good and meaningful content in the journey of goodbye old age.